Hello! Welcome to Teaching Tuesday. I'm Heather McGee. Today we're going to be making Easter egg art. Easter is coming up pretty quickly and it'll be really fun to get some decorations out there. So let me show you what you need to get started. You'll need 2 pieces of paper that are kind of heavy. Then strips of paper, lots of strips of paper. The scrapbooking paper. You can have cardstock, construction paper, wrapping paper. You could use aluminum foil. You can use all kinds of different things. Whatever pattern and colors you like are exactly right. You'll also need Elmer's glue or school glue. A glue stick will work, but the school glue will work better. A pair of scissors and a pencil. And I also have a piece of scrap cardboard or cardstock so that I can make a pattern. And I'll show you how to do that too. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. The first step today is to make a pattern for your Easter egg because you're going to use that more than once. Your egg pattern is going to be smaller than your outside paper so that you can make a frame. Just kind of draw an egg shape. Now, I'm making lots and lots of little lines. You know why? Because the first time you draw something generally is not the only one you're going to have. You're going to want to change your shape a little bit. So as I keep drawing, I'm like, oh, I like that shape, so I'm going to keep that one. Now, when you cut it out, you're going to have to decide which line to cut on. So if you want to take a marker or a pen, or you just want to make a very dark mark on it, you can eventually figure out which shape you want to use. And now, once you have the shape you think you'd like, go ahead and just cut that out. If you decide after it's cut out that it's not the shape you want, then you could adjust it, make it smaller. You can't make it bigger, obviously, after you cut it out. If one side is a little wonky and you want to change it, then just trim off a little bit. There you go. Put that over in my trash pile. I think that's a pretty good shape. That's going to work for what I'm doing. And that is how you make your egg pattern. Put your pattern over top of your backing and draw a line around your pattern. When you take your pattern away, you'll see that you have an egg shape left on your background. On the piece of paper that you're going to use for the front frame, again, draw your pattern on what you're going to use for your front frame. Now, the frame is going to be a little bit smaller than the actual pattern that you're going to create. So I'm going to take my pencil. You could do the same thing. I'm just going to draw inside, I don't know, it's a 1/2 inch maybe, inside the pattern that I just traced for my front frame. It's just going to give me an idea where that's going to go. Now I'm going to cut this smaller egg out. The easiest way to do this is to carefully poke a hole through the paper and cut from the inside out to where your circle is. See how that's working? You can make lots of little cuts. You're not going all the way to the edge. This is just so your scissors move around easily. Now I'm going to carefully go out to the edge and I'm going to cut to where that inside pattern is, the inside line for the smaller egg. Some of that's kind of tricky. We usually cut outside of patterns, so it's not always the easiest thing for us to work from the inside. Next thing you need is your Elmer's glue. Yes, you can use a glue stick for this. It takes a little longer because it dries out very quickly. And sometimes the pieces of paper will pop off when you use a glue stick. Put some glue across the bottom part of this egg. So I'm going to work at the bottom first, and then I'll work my way up towards the middle and the top. Take your strips of paper, and you're going to want to cover up the line of the egg. Squish it down. Here's a little skinny yellow one. Put that on here. Just make sure that there are no gaps in between your strips. Now you might notice this one's not straight, is it? See that? It's not straight. I did that on purpose because it's going to make my finished egg look a little more interesting. Just lay strips across and just keep working your way up. Oh, I've gotten to the point where I'm almost out of glue. So add some more glue around the edges and lots in the middle. You can use your finger to rub this around too. You don't need a thick layer. A thin layer is just fine, but you need it all over the inside of that egg shape. Keep working your way the whole way until you've covered all of the pieces of your egg in here. So I just have a little bit left. There. I've covered up all of the pattern that I have drawn on here. It's best to let this dry. So let it dry for a little bit, and then we'll come back and do the next part. My strips have dried out a little bit, so now what's going to happen? Turn the paper over. I'm going to clip these right along the edge. There we go. Take your scissors, and using the edge of the cardboard or your backing as a pattern, trim all of those little strips off. Now this is what it looks like. It's just a stripy piece of paper. Now for the fun part. We get to put on our frame. Set your stripes aside and take the pattern that you made earlier. Remember, this is the one that you cut smaller than your original pattern. And you probably have some pencil lines on the back. This is where you traced it to begin with. And this is where you cut it smaller. On the side with the pencil marks, you're going to put your glue. So this is the side that has the pencil marks. Put that side up. And now with your glue, you're going to put glue all the way around this piece of paper. There we go. Now, I've got glue all over the back of my top frame. Here's my original pattern with the colored stripes on it. Now I'm going to hold the top frame and very carefully line it up. I just very gently put it on top of my other piece of paper. I'm lining up the edges before I squish everything down. There we go. Squish it down. Elmer's glue has a tendency to curl up as it dries. So you could just put a heavy book over top of it. Squish it down so it's going to be nice and flat when you get done with it. Let it dry. It may even dry overnight. That's fine. But make sure it's good and dry, and the heavy book will keep it flat. The next day you can take it out and look. You have an Easter egg decoration. If you want to put other decorations on it, that is really cool. But you know how to frame your Easter egg art now. I'm glad you've joined me today. Happy Easter. Goodbye.